Man, I gained 10 pounds eating the red and the green M&Ms, bro. I gained 10 pounds so quick without I'll chop it up today. How you brothers been for the week, man?
Oh, we've been good, man.
We've been good.
Good. We can't ignore the ratings. I mean, this light skin thing is working for me and Derek.
I heard it's more market. Where do we start?
Yo, what's up?
What up, D?
Stop it up. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Please like and subscribe, and also ring my bell. Ring our notification bell. Let us know. And please make comments, because we will respond to you in the comments, good, the bad, and the ugly, except for you all racist people that want to say stuff. We will still love you. Anyhow. My brothers, what's up, Derek, man? How was your week, brother? How you feeling?
Hey, man, I'm all right, man, considering I'm home alone, man. You know, my family's out vacationing in the Poconos having a ball, and they left me home, man.
Wow.
Is it door lock? You got the door lock?
Oh, the door lock? I need to have the door lock, man. I'm serious. I'm telling you. Man, I had a real bugged out weekend, though, man, because just a young man was having a very bad night with his girlfriend. And it was really bad, man. You know, fellas, any young guys here, man, there's a certain way that you treat a lady. We just are raised a certain way. And I don't care what she did to you or if she cheated on you or whatever, there's no justification for putting your hands on her and carrying on the way this young man carried on. He had a bad night, spoke to his father. So you know we're good, you know what I mean. But there's some things I can say, but I'm glad it worked itself out. You know, I'm glad because you put yourself in certain situations as a young guy, man. You don't know how anything could go. Somebody could call the police, man, and you have a whole other situation. They see you, you know, on another one. You know how it is, man. You're grabbing up on a young lady, you're carrying on, and it could have ended really, really poorly for him. So. You know, I tried to step in and talk to him as much as possible. He wasn't really feeling me at the time, but I'm hoping that with a few days to relax and think about it, you know, he will understand how dangerous and how potentially life altering that night could have been. You know what I mean? And so that's just it. But other than that, man, listen, I'm blessed. Miss my family, but that's all right. They're gonna remedy that. They'll be back in a little while at some point tonight, probably after the show, and I'll get caught up. Oh, here we go.
We're gonna get it early.
Yeah.
Turn that camera on.
Yo,
turn that camera on.
My man was in his drawers.
I was shit.
Yeah.
Turn that camera on.
Listen, what did I say before I said I had a feeling?
Yeah.
I had a feeling.
You said you was home alone. You ain't home alone.
Oh man.
All right, Rodney, while Derek's hiding Casper from us, you know, Casper want to let his girls out, man. You know, that motherfucker hot back there, man.
Yeah.
How was your week, man?
Nah, my week is good. It's good to be back home. You know, I was away for a little bit. Good to be back home. I had a really great day today. You know what I'm saying? I saw my brother-in-law. He told me he had something for me, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I said, why would he have something for me or whatever? So I go by his house, and my brother-in-law bought me a brand new fishing rod.
Oh, nice.
And because we always said that we were going to go fishing together or whatever. And I thought that was amazing. It made me really happy that he did something like that. You know what I'm saying? And he also bought me a new torch for me to smoke cigars. It just, like I said, it just came out of nowhere. It was a pleasant surprise, and it truly made my day. You know what I'm saying? We sat out there, we kicked it for a little while, and it's nice to have, you know, in-laws that actually appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Because some people don't have a great relationship with their in-laws. You know what I mean? But actually, I do, and I'm blessed to have that. But other than that, I had a pretty good week. I'm glad to be back, and I'll be leaving town again tomorrow.
This motherfucker got more money than God.
Come on. Yeah.
Oh, is he still there? Oh, that was old. I thought he was still there. I thought he came back. I said, my motherfucker's gonna stand in the doorway like, yo.
Yeah.
Hey man, just chop it up. You never know what you're gonna get, boy.
Yeah.
Yo,
Well, shout out to my brother-in-law Chris, man. Good looking on that.
All right, Chris, that's what's up. Kelvin, how was your week, my brother?
Okay, first of all, good evening, gentlemen, and the Let's Chop It Up family, and those that are viewing at home. Week was pretty good. Now, I know you probably think I'm gonna come out here and talk about the person who put their car in front of my house with a tarp over it and no license plate or registration showing so they could hide the car. I know that's what y'all think I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to talk about that tonight. You know what I'm saying? And for those that don't watch the show regularly, yes, I do live in a black neighborhood, just in case you was wondering, those that may be asking at home. But I'm not going to let the enemy use me with that. But on a serious subject, there was a young lady, and I was going to the supermarket, and I don't know if this happens to you guys, where you have teenagers, especially this time of year, that are out soliciting, selling things for their school or fundraising. And I had this experience that was a little disturbing to me. I had a young lady approach me last weekend, and she was trying to sell something for her school. I was preoccupied. I was on the phone. So when I came back out, she was with someone else. I went to my car. The next minute, the young lady comes and knocks on my passenger side window. Comes through the parking lot. And she looked so young, but she was dressed so, I guess, revealing. She was wearing a bikini top.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just really, really odd, man. And I said, young lady, how old are you? She's like, I'm 15 years old. And so I just wanted to say, and I did say this to her, I said, first of all, don't go knocking on people's car window, especially don't go approaching men. I said, because you got a lot of people out here that just have a problem, or they're just sick, or they're just not trustworthy, and you have to be careful with that. And I was trying to find a delicate way to say you shouldn't be out here wearing stuff like you're at the beach or the pool. You're out here fundraising for a school. So I blame the schools, first of all, sending these kids out all the time. Secondly, the parents shouldn't send these kids out by themselves. You know, this girl is 15 years old and she's approaching a grown man. And, you know, you worry about kids like that. First of all, I don't want to be in any situation where I'm engaging with a teenager that I don't even know and that doesn't know me. I think it looks inappropriate. And I just think it could be dangerous depending on the person that comes. So that was a little disturbing to me. And it was so disturbing that I immediately contacted you guys about it. I said I want to bring it up because I just thought it was just something that was a little disturbing. So I don't know if you guys have had that experience, but I want to say to all the parents out there, please don't allow your kids to just be out there. We live in some very, very strange times. The community is not the community we was raised in. It's just differences out here, and you never know. There's sex trafficking. There's pedophiles among us. There's a lot of things that are dangerous for young people in our community. We got to do everything we can to protect them. You ever remember your parents, if they didn't want to send you out there, they just support the stuff. All my mother do is get on the phone. My aunts and uncles and all my stuff was sold for school immediately. And I think we might have to go back to that.
I hope we do, because you know you're right. Sex trafficking, organs, they stealing kids, young people organs.
Yeah.
And you know now they're saying they still now melanin. So that's something else to watch out for.
Well,
I ain't even heard of that.
You know, it's no, I commend you, Calvin, for that. You know what I'm saying? Actually talking to her and actually putting it on the show, because we have to watch our young ladies. You know what I mean? Because
and she was very receptive, Rod. I want to say that young lady was very
receptive.
Good.
That's good. That's
good. Kind of surprised me. She was like, I understand what you're saying. I'll be careful.
It seems like some of the younger women today are, you know, so caught up in the independent thing and being strong and feeling themselves. And I understand that you should be confident, you should feel independent, but you should also be careful and understand, you know what I mean? Like, you know, there are some weirdos out here, you know.
And my concern was, are you wearing that top? Because she was very developed. You know what I mean? Like a lot of teenagers are, they're developing what they're eating. They're developing faster than we did in our era. And I was like, I hope she's not wearing that, thinking that it'll be something that will make people come and support or whatever, because that's a bad look as well. So, you know, but that's what it is. I know you guys are fathers, so you already know.
She don't want R. Kelly trying to buy that candy from her.
Yeah, because that's you know, from my background.
I'm just saying.
From my background, that's the issue that I think of immediately when I hear Kelvin's story. You know, because I've seen a lot of things, and you know, there are a lot of sick dudes out there that take advantage and offer her money and put her in an awkward position, and it's just like I say, I got daughters, so stuff like that scares me a lot. You know what I mean? Definitely scares me a lot. But I commend you again, Kelvin, for speaking to her and letting her know that was kind of a dangerous situation. Whatever she's selling, it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all.
I always feel like this. I'm sorry, Rod. I always feel like this as an adult. Whenever we got a chance to try to help some young person in any way, we got to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But most of these charity raising things, they're online now and stuff. These kids shouldn't be out in the streets soliciting people for money. But I just bought something from somebody that was a friend of mine, and I basically did it online in basically 3 seconds from seeing that she was raising money for her group. You know what I mean?
Right. Definitely. Yeah. So what's up, D? What's going on with you?
I'm chilling, man. Like, speaking of, my niece is selling some popcorn, some expensive ass popcorn, but it's for the kids. So I just want to say
that's who I bought. That's who I just paid for.
Popcorn is the new. I don't know what it is.
It's the new hustle. My favorite kids to donate to is the kids on the train. Showtime. Those are
the ones that are the funniest ones.
Those are the funniest. When they say showtime, I'm like, oh, here we go. They miss kicking me in the face by that much every time. Showtime. My week was interesting, man. I was in North Carolina, drove back. Here you go. I had to go to North Carolina. My sister, when you come back from the South, people ask you to bring back all kind of stuff. Do y'all know what South meat is?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So for those that don't know what South meat is, that's hog head cheese.
Yeah.
My sister Cheryl, and I'm shouting you out, I know she's going to see this. She made me bring back all this head cheese I picked up from Delaware, and then she had me driving around the city, going to the Bella Hood basketball game, but she gave me the wrong date. That wasn't the date for the game. The game was Sunday, so I ducked the bullet on that one, so I ain't mad at that. And then we wound up going to my cousin. I got cousins, black people all mixed up. I have cousins in Brooklyn I really don't know, but I was in touch with one that was really close on the Crandall side, my mother's side. Went to a block party out there that was really beautiful. Shout out to my cousin, Narita Crandall. And I met a whole bunch of other cousins I did not know ever in my life before. So I have a ton of Brooklyn cousins in Brooklyn now. Lucky I ain't smack a couple of them over the years, but I've been working in Brooklyn for 20 years. But I have, and actually one of them, years ago, I found out. I knew he was when he came into class, when he came to school. He is my cousin. His name is Markeith Crandall. Shout out to him. He's doing really well in life now. He's a good kid. Came a long way. And then we wound up to a throwback party with a whole bunch of throwback people. And it was cool. Good music, but a lot of throwback shit. A lot of people that think they still got it. I don't know. They don't have to. So, but it was cool. It was cool. It was cool. My man, shout out to DJ Raucus. He also has a nice party out in Queens. Good music, former correctional officer. When I go in his parties, I know nobody bringing that native tongue to the party. So, yeah, but it was a good week. And tomorrow, my son turns 15. Little D, it will be 15 years old. He's 6 foot and change now. He's a 211-pound big boy, man. So he's a big man now, a big young man, bigger than me now. So he's up there, man. So I love that kid, man. But anyhow, man, we got a lot to go talk about tonight, gentlemen, man. The first thing on the chopping block tonight is hold up. No, Kelvin, that was Kelvin's pet peeve. That was your pet peeve, right? The kids coming on.
Yeah, that's my pet peeve.
Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry, producer Jim, I mixed that one up. Situation in Afghanistan, brothers. We've seen people. Afghanistan has went back to the Taliban. They're up there doing press conferences on TV nowadays and talking about how safe they're gonna be. But I saw today they caught a man in the street for stealing, and they shot a woman in half an hour wearing a burqa. And they was trying to hold on to these planes. Some people saying it's fake. Some people saying it's real. What are you guys' thoughts on Afghanistan? And people blaming Bush, and no, people blaming Biden and Trump, but it's all. I always go back to the source who started shit was George Bush II.
Yeah, man, you're right. That's the genesis. You could even really go back further than that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a situation, obviously that spans multiple administrations, and goes back decades, and it just finally culminated right now. Nobody has been able to defeat Afghanistan. Russia damn near bankrupted itself trying to go in and conquer Afghanistan. And look, we right behind it. Look at where we're at. You know what I mean? So
$2 trillion.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, babe. So it's like, why are we over there in the first place? So, Afghanistan's still standing there. You cannot change their way of life. we put up some sort of like almost like a paper mache government that we put together there. And the minute everybody left, they fell apart because everyone was just stealing money and grifting and everything else, you know. So yeah, I mean, there was never going to be a good time to leave. You could always come up with a reason to stay, like they did for the last 20, 30 years. But you know what? Biden just came around and just said, you know, I'm just going to pull the rug, man, and just end it. And sometimes that's all you can do is just end it, you know. And it is what it is. It's unfortunate. I feel bad for the people over there that's stuck over there, but you know,
do you guys think? I know you guys are not military, but you know how we stood in North Korea? I mean, South Korea all these years to keep some kind of eye on things. Do you think that if we had stayed over there, not like over there helping out, what do you guys think? Oh, hey, what up, Tim? That's right, my man Timmy.
Ran off with 106. The president, exactly.
Yeah.
The president was the first one out.
Tim is former military. For anybody knows, that's former military right there.
Yeah,
my man was over in that desert at one time over there, man. Yeah. So, what do you guys thoughts, man? What else?
I don't know.
No, well, I will say that, you know, Biden, even if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure he was against staying in Afghanistan, even when he was the vice president with Obama. He wanted to pull out. You know, Obama wanted to stay over there. But yeah, it's not going to be an easy thing to keep that under control. I mean, they left 11 days. Basically, they just took back over the place. I mean, you know, you're dealing with basically people that are very extreme. And when people are very extreme, it's hard to keep something like that under control. You know what I mean? But, you know, I mean, I don't disagree with them pulling out. I really don't.
I don't think you can implement Western civilization practices over the Middle East. I just don't. And I know America feels like we're the world's police, and you go to all these different places, and like Derek was saying, you set up a government that you put in place. You just really cannot impose our way of life on the people who are residents there. And so they're not ever going to look at women as equals. They're just not going to do it. It's not. And if you're born over there, it's unfortunate. That's just what it is. It's no other way around it. And it's kind of hard for people like me who feel like we barely have rights here sometimes. So it's like, you know, my nephew is over there. He's part of this evacuation, and this one is really getting to me. You know, again, he's in the military. So once you're in the military, that's what you sign up for. But you know, at the end of the day, it's tough. Now, as far as the people on the planes and stuff, to see that level of desperation, you know, reminds me of when we left Vietnam. My father was saying how he just sat and cried. He said because he lost so many friends while he was there. And the question was, what was it all for? So what was accomplished since, you know, September 11th, you know, 2001, what was accomplished from then to now? 20 years and what? All this money spent, a bunch of GIs lost their lives. And now we've got to pull out. But I do agree, Derek, if not now, when?
Yeah. That's I don't know, man. It's like, I hope your nephew be safe. Main thing is like we gotta like, you know, hope your nephew come back safe, one piece, and all those people with him. And
thank you.
And yeah, I don't even know what to say with the whole thing with the Taliban. It's a sad situation to see that these women that fought to get educated, jobs, it's gonna go back to what it was before. It's really sad, man.
And I agree with Gerard too. I mean, when there's America is they know when they don't have any interest left either. So I'm sure that plays a factor.
That's Gerard. That's your son.
I agree with Gerard too, not just because he's my son, but I disagree with him. He thinks like his father. That's why.
You see what Chicken Wing just said about me, man? Chicken Wing, these are bowls, man. These are bowls.
Here come your son. Here come your oldest son.
Here come my big son. Yeah, my man. Thanks for coming on tonight too, Chicken. Thanks for Gerard too, man. Gerard's a new viewer too, man. Thanks, Gerard, man. We appreciate that, Gerard. Word up, man. Haiti, man. The situation in Haiti, man. If people don't know, I don't know where you've been. There's an earthquake in Haiti. They just went through a storm. Infrastructure in Haiti, and then it's sad to see that every few months Haiti got to go through something. I feel so bad for our brothers and sisters over there. And I think on the 27th, for anybody that got something to give, I just want to make a 27th of this month of August at Prince Joshua Vito Community Center where I work at. We are going to do a drive. Part of the drive is to give back to kids and backpacks and all that stuff like that. But we also want to start collecting water, anything we can. First aid kits, we're going to send them over to Haiti. We just confirmed that today, so you can. We want to help our brothers and sisters that look like us over there. Yeah, so Haiti situation, guys. You know, the president got murdered a few weeks ago. Now we got the situation with the earthquake. now we have a storm. Well, the storm just passed, and these people need our help. Your thoughts on Haiti, people?
Yeah. Man.
Well,
I think we need to start a Haiti challenge on social media. You know what I mean? We stand with Haiti or something. You know what I mean? So get something going, man. Because like you said, that place is. There were challenges before the earthquake, you know, and now it's just like forget about it, man. So I don't know what the answer is, but we need to get that going though. We desperately need to support our brothers and sisters over there, man. Definitely. So let's get that going. I don't know how we get that started, but we got to get that started.
I just obviously it's tragic. I don't know how many. I know a Haitian guy. And he was showing me some video that I guess some of his family members sent him. And I mean, there's one place where I guess there was a big fault and the land just opened up and people fell in it. And there's people missing and things like that. Very, very resilient people. But I mean, at this point, to go through, earthquake after earthquake and then just natural disaster, it is just painful to see. And I think they've been in my lifetime always been considered the poorest country in the Western civilization in the Western Hemisphere, and unless there is some concerted effort to actually really change the government over there and change the way of life over there, I don't see things changing. So there are times when we just have to be very, very prayerful for people, and supportive, and I think that's what we have to do our due diligence with that.
Yeah, only reason it was ever the poorest because of the sanctions and stuff that was put on Haiti. We're going to go to the history of Haiti. That was the white people always had an extra ground because those brothers were cutting their heads off and sending them back home. So it was an extra ground.
They fought and won.
Yeah, that's right.
And every flag that you see in those South American countries, the only place that have red and blue, because of the Haitians. I just want to let you know a little historical fact on that. Ecuador, all them places like that, it was because of Haiti freedom.
Yeah. Damien, exactly. Now, poor is one of the most sanctioned and depressed. Absolutely.
Word up.
Makes me wonder why DR doesn't have these natural disasters in the same island. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so the bank needs giving their money expeditiously.
Yeah, producer Jamie said because they get earthquakes, but I never really hear about the earthquakes in DR. But they said they feel tremors. They said that structurally, the way the buildings are built better to withstand the earthquakes. I can see that as a factor, but it's something else. I think going on in Haiti, man.
Well, the infrastructure in Haiti, from what I understand, everything is like brick and concrete. So there's no flexibility. Everything is just going to crack or break or fall.
Yeah. So I feel brothers and sisters. But yeah, shout out 27 if you can bring it through 876 Shank Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, East New York. If you're not, hit me up. Instagram, look at my Instagram name right there. Jump in my DMs on that. And
I'm gonna tell y'all. So when they evaluate where this started at. Tonight is the night that I've decided that I will be putting out a diss record against Damien. So tonight is the night. No, I'm just letting you know where it all started. So when I finish the show tonight, just know I'm going over to the studio. So
shout out to Shauna. She will be there. Shauna always give out to the kids. Help teach the kids arts and crafts and beads on Saturdays at the same center on Saturdays. So check out Miss Shauna if you got young children. But yeah, Damien, man, the framework, man, we ready to do it, man. Damien, we're going to have Damien come on. We talk about the old school diss. He mentioned stuff to me earlier today about the diss song. So when we do that piece, it's gonna be dope.
That's right, Damien. That's right.
Yo, Damien must have smoke.
That's right. Get your pen.
I don't know.
Oh, penmanship gotta be up. All right.
I feel like I can hit a bass in that knee.
Listen, this is trending right now, ladies and gentlemen. White population has declined for the first time in the U.S. history, with new census expected by this came out the new census in 2020 that we had that Trump tried to get rid of.
Yeah,
I've never seen you smile this much. Never. I mean, look, he just couldn't even get it out. The joy in his heart.
Nah, listen, don't get twisted. I like white people. I just don't like that shit that they only make up 10% of the world, man, and like they got so much power. Now the world, everything's coming back to center. That's all. Come back to the original people. That's all I'm saying. And the thing is, don't be scared. We're not going to do the same thing y'all did to us or any other person around the world. It just
but I have to say, it is impressive that people took the census serious because people are really, really, getting those numbers in. And
well, they didn't get all the numbers in. I think Trump stopped it. Didn't he slow it down?
He tried to. Because He tried to heavily. He
Yeah,
tried to stop
yeah.
the census.
And the thing is, the numbers still not right, because if you got immigration issues, you didn't take the census because you was afraid that you could get reported because of what Trump was saying about deporting everybody. So the numbers are still not accurate, and they still look good. It looks like the bleach is starting to get diluted. That's what what it looks like to me. It seems like white people. What they said, white people are going to drop below 60% for the first time ever.
Yep.
You know, it's time for a change.
And language got to change. When they say about minorities, that's got to change.
Yeah.
You know,
the Latino population is getting huge, but we got to see which direction the Latino people are going to go in. That's the question.
Their population is actually increasing. Black people will pretty much staying the same, from what I understand, but the Latino population is exploding.
Correct.
You know?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. In America. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, we also thought that they also thought the numbers would be bigger due to the pandemic. We thought that the pandemic would produce more babies, but it actually didn't. You know what I'm saying? So that put a dent in their population as well. So
the Asian population is increasing as well, from what I understand. Too.
Yeah. Everybody but white people.
Yeah, too. Another thing, they thought the drug that they gave to us was going to kill us, but it sure enough backfired. It killed them. Think about this. Every crackhead has 5 kids.
Jamie, roll it.
Here we go, LT.
Come on.
LT.
I swear to God, I'm going to tell this quick joke real quick. I swear to God. This is sort of.
Oh, God. Everybody get ready.
This real quick. I was working at the school, at the elementary school, and these white women getting together trying to figure out they couldn't have babies. Oh, can't have babies. This old black lady, I swear to you, walked up and said, "Y'all need to smoke crack. Crack women have plenty of babies." Yo, kid, that is the truth. I was dying laughing when she said it. The shit was fucked up. She was the truth. She was saying that shit out of her heart, and I was cracking the fuck up. That's some true shit. I'm sorry to get off topic, Jamie, but that's some true shit. Crackheads have babies, baby. Crackheads like the fuck. But it's straight. But that's why they're trying to change this critical race theory. All these things are coming up now because they're fading out.
I want to know how many world problems have been answered with the answer. Y'all need to smoke crack.
Yeah, you would never think that, right? That crack would be the answer, right?
No, I'm just saying, don't kill the messenger.
Oh man!
We gotta move on. Jamie's in my ear.
Where we go?
Gotta move on. Lynn May got pregnant at 68 after a drunken one night stand by alleged baby father claims. She's 68. A pipe worker still working. You know what I'm saying? She's dropping fresh eggs out here in these streets. Jam, you know, you have a picture of Lynn May? God, I wish you had a picture of this lady so people can see.
Yo, so Lynn May is about to be a grandmother.
Yeah, she's about to be she's
68. She's gonna be a grandmother. She's gonna have 2 kids. She's gonna have the one she's gonna have, and the guy that got her pregnant, because he's young too, right?
Yeah, he's young.
So she's gonna have 2 kids.
Wait a minute, how old is he?
I think in his 20s, right?
He's what? He's what?
No. Roger.
Yo.
All right. I'm
my youngest.
He's 28. No, he's 28.
Okay, that's last year.
Yeah. 28. Yeah, my youngest just came down here to disturb the show. Sorry about that.
That's all right, man. Hey, that's what it is. Listen, at least you come in new like my
Wait, hold on. Y'all burying the lead. You telling me somebody 28?
Yeah, somebody 68. Yeah, somebody 68 pregnant. Yeah.
She used to babysit him. And how this stuff happen? Oh, this is terrible.
Hey, listen, at least she ain't R. Kelly. He is 28. She got to get a little piece. I ain't mad at her, man.
Wow, that is that's a little bit different. 68 getting pregnant by 28-year-old.
Yeah. But we gotta move on. I know, Jamie. We gotta move on. A transgender guy gets a woman pregnant in jail.
Ooh.
You know what, man?
I got a bad feeling about this show.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Listen, the person said they recognize her being something else. They got in the same cell. You doing time? It's the pipes are still there and all that. Yeah. Plumbing is still there.
Now, the question is that still lesbian sex?
No.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, wait. Okay, let's get this. Let's get it straight. Let's get it straight. A transgender was in a cell with a female, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
And got the female pregnant.
Right.
Yeah.
So while they were in the same cell, I guess the female said, "Wait a minute, you're a man. Look at what we have here." And basically decided, I've been in here a while and let's get it popping. So it just continues to show, no matter what you identify as.
Oh, Shauna, come on now. You love my comment, Shauna.
Shauna, I am too. Shauna. I am too.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there's going to be a lawsuit on this. Going to be a lawsuit on that.
So was this person planning this from the gate? Was the person pretending to be transgender just to get over to the women? Was that what it was going on?
No, listen. No, this was two women having sex, two women having lesbian sex in prison. It happens. There's sex.
Okay.
Wait. But they got pregnant, Derek. How can it be two lesbian women?
It's a transgender woman and a woman. It's still a woman, right?
No. Well.
No, Derek.
Okay.
No.
It's
a man that is identified as being a woman, right?
Right. Transgender woman. Right.
Yes.
Okay, but he still has obviously a man's.
Maybe he didn't finish finishing the rest of the hair.
Cheeks must get clapped. You know,
yo, Amy should get the stroll across the thing, not me this time.
Yo,
the first time a doggone person in the comments gets a stroll across the thing. You know?
No, that's hilarious. Okay, I just want to be on the record to say that this whole thing is nasty. That's all I want to say. It's nasty.
Thank you,
so
David.
how is Derek correct?
A point. Y'all hating on the come up.
No.
Well, we just hate to come out in this case because that was just foul. You can't be in the women's side doing. All right, I don't know what. I don't know.
Wait, somebody got pregnant here, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So then obviously my man still has his man organ.
And is still attracted to women.
Obviously. So he's identifying as a woman, but he's still.
I think when you locked up, you just like, I'm attracted.
You gotta have sex.
Whatever got a crack in the hole, goddamn.
Yeah.
But the thing is, how do you put a man with a penis in the population with females? You can't do that. You can't do that.
That's the issue.
Because something like this would happen.
Listen, man.
So all right.
That's where we at.
We got to go. Jamie's telling us to go on, but I'm just one more.
Thank you. So Thank you, Jamie.
If you put a transgender man that's going into being a woman, right, into the man cell where the guys beat him up, but safe.
No, but they got another section for that, D.
Yeah, I know.
They have a section where they could put the transgender male, and he's, there's a section for that.
But the thing is,
you can't put.
But that's not humane.
You cannot put a man with a man organ in there with women and expect this not to happen.
Thank you.
You guys still not understanding this?
I got it.
Okay.
We have to move on because Jamie told me we have to move on. So I am going to. Okay. According to New York Post, a cop's on a hunt for the MTA subway driver who alleged let his girlfriend behind the wheel of the train. If you didn't see this guy, if you could Google it. I wish we had a picture to show you. He had his woman driving the train, taking pictures. He's in the picture frame. She's confessed. She put it on Instagram. This is why people always try to get these likes, mess up, blow it up for everybody. Now this dude's on a run. He lost his job. He lost his pension. He's done. Thoughts on this activity on the train?
Blatant stupidity. That's my response to that. Blatant stupidity. Now, what did you get out of that for doing that? Now you lost your job.
Got some likes.
Now, huh?
Got some likes.
He got some likes. Yeah, he got some likes. Let's see if he's gonna be like now when he's unemployed. You know what I'm saying? let's see if his girlfriend's gonna like him when he can't take her to the movies. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if she's gonna like him. But I say that's just blatant stupidity. You know, he's unemployed, and then you got to understand when you do something like that, he's working for a city agency. So when he tries to apply for other jobs that are like good jobs, it's going to come up that he was fired for this.
Well, he might go to jail for this too.
Well, when he gets out, put it like that. When he gets out. So now you got fired from MTA, and he possibly may do a little bit of time. But you know, most time, first time offenders, if he does time, he's not going to do that much time for that because nobody was injured or hurt or whatever.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is he just threw his life away. He's just an idiot.
I hope he doesn't do time. Yeah, the natives. I hope he doesn't do time, but yeah, I mean the job, that's gone. You know.
I hope he don't do time for what he did, but him being so stupid, he got to do time anyway. Really, really. And like, in other words, it's not so much like Rodney said, people didn't get hurt. You got to do time just for being stupid. That's just for being not for putting her behind the train. It's just the fact that you that stupid enough to not realize how stupid that was. Then you should do time.
Speaking of some other stupid shit, a 14-year-old boy his mother wants him to get a vasectomy when he turns 14 years old.
Come on, man.
Come on.
Well, I watched her explanation. Obviously, this is ridiculous.
She has an explanation for that?
Yes. The interviewer asked her, "Do you hate men?" And she said yes. So initially, what happened was, I think she had him young. I think the man she had him with ran out early, and so her point is, her rationale is, and I just want to say to everybody, this level of stupidity is not on me. I'm just reporting it. Her idea was thinking that she doesn't want her son to potentially get someone pregnant and then possibly run out on them as a young person. So she doesn't want him to have.
You should teach her son better then.
That's right.
Want him to have the capacity to be in that position until he's older. So the person said, well, "What if he wants to have kids one day?" She's like, "It could be reversed." So I just want to say this right now, since we've already into the show, we will never, and I mean ever, get anywhere as a people, and that's right. And
give him the show, Sam. He should get the thing.
No, that's true. I challenge anybody on that. That's right.
That's child abuse, man.
I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna agree with Derek. I mean, she shouldn't be raising that boy because if she's thinking like that, you know what I'm saying? Because she's obviously too damaged from her past relationship to move on and think rationally. You want your son. Yeah, she's too bitter. She's very damaged. So she's not in a position to raise her son appropriately because she's going.
Well, that's why I have an idea, Rodney. Yeah. I have an idea. You can't stop people from having children. Mm-mm. But what we need to do is when you come to the hospital where you got to take them home, you should have to take a test first. And if you fail, then somebody else get the kid. That's what it is. Because some people just are not prepared to be parents. And that's the most asinine, ignorant thing I've ever said. And it's not even that I've ever heard. I mean, it's not even the fact that she wants to do it. The fact that she got enough to tell the world she wants to do something like that. Now, the good news is, I'm sure legally she cannot do that. I'm sure you cannot take a child in a situation like that. So
a child you cannot give a child a vasectomy. To be honest with you, you have to sign off on a vasectomy even as a grown man, and usually they make you sign off. Correct. They persuade you, and if you don't have kids at all, then they also try to persuade you. But you have to sign the papers first, and then you have to come back because it gives you time to think about it before they actually do it. You don't walk in and just get a vasectomy. You know what I'm saying? Right. But you're right. She had the audacity to post something like this to show how ignorant of a mother she actually is.
Exactly.
You know
That's a 14-year-old boy. His mind isn't even developed enough to figure out what it is he wants out of his life. You know what I mean? And you're going to do something like that to him. Cut it out.
And you know what else? Sometimes kids that don't have fathers wind up being better fathers as a result of their fathers not being around because they missed their fathers and they said, "Yo, I couldn't do that to somebody, so I'm not going to do that to my kids." Her son could wind up being a great father.
Yo, see what Derek said? Yo, that's deep.
Damien makes a good point.
Yeah.
So my thing, we're going to move to the next topic. My only thing I want to say is I'm going to quote Little Bootsy. Don't cut his dick off, man. Don't cut his dick off, man.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. All you got to do is get it to the rim, and D is gonna finish the play. I
gotta figure out ways to segue us because Danny be on to try to get through these topics, man. right? And more of the black community, major companies are recruiting from more historical black college, and even better, administrators of the well, right to the next question. Yeah, from historical black colleges in numbers. Like Howard University career outreach person said 100% more than the last year it went up recruiting for these corporations than they did before Howard. And they said the people that graduate from Howard is graduating with a $78,000 salary. Any thoughts on this, Gentlemen?
Dope. I think those people going on, those alumni are doing their job, man. You know, they're going out into the world, and they're representing us well, and they're reaching back. I think, you know, and they're getting their kudos. These companies are looking, they're saying, hey, you know, we got some real HBCU talent, you know, and they're giving these kids a shot, man. And I think it's wonderful to see. You know, I didn't attend an HBCU myself, you know, but I always, but part of me, HSBCU. I'm sorry, and but you know, I didn't attend, but you know, I always kind of regret it. You know what I mean? A little bit. You know, the experience.
I do too. Yeah. I mean, I did go to one. Technically, I went to Virginia Union University. I did have the experience. I'm not going to describe the experience, but I'll say I always
leave it alone. It was 91, man. That's back in the day.
I always want to go to Morehouse or Howard or Hampton, and if it wasn't for those academic requirements at the time, I would have gone. But you know, they got this thing with a GPA. You know, they was out there tripping.
Back in the day, Morehouse, I mean, you had to put a picture on your doggone application.
I remember that. I put it there, and they sent the picture back and said no. But that's because of that GPA required. Morehouse was tough to get in back then. But yeah, no, I think it's phenomenal. And you have a lot of talent that comes out of those schools. I mean, look at our own host, D, coming from a historically black college.
Right.
Historically black college, man. Yeah.
You know, I mean, he set a new record to get scrolls on the show too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No reflection on the HBCU experience. No reflection.
It's dope because people have to realize 80% of the doctors, I think 80% of the black doctors come from HBCUs. 80% of the top lawyers, you get the judges all from HBCUs, and the ones that run the most Fortune 500 companies are from HBCUs. The ones that have. So shout out. That's right. That's right.
Dope.
I didn't know Miss Sally went to Spelman.
Yes,
man.
She's better than everybody else.
Yo, how did you not know that? She tells everybody that.
I did not know.
He makes sure that you recognize that
all the time.
Wow.
All the time. Yo, and shout out! I'm glad Morehouse is starting to like advertise what they do with their freshmen and stuff. Like if you guys can see that on these historical black college Instagram pages, you can see what the Morehouse boys do out there. That is really dope what they do, man. And a lot of other black schools. I've been to a lot of them on the tours. They're really dope on what they bring in the freshmen and also for when they recruiting days. I've been to a lot. I've been to a good majority of them. Myself and Jamie been to a lot of them together. The cookout has a capacity. So people don't understand. We gotta, as a community, we always inviting everybody to our cookout. When we say about people that don't have the same melanin as us, like the Brown brothers, they down with the cookout obviously because they've been rolling with us for years. Ourselves, but then we start inviting people into the cookouts. The M&Ms and all those other stuff. And I think we keep inviting these people into our cookouts until we don't have any more seats for our own people. What do you guys think about people saying, yo, they could come to the cookout, like Adele could come to the cookout? Before Bill Clinton, first black president, we see how true that shit was. So what do you brothers think, man?
All right, who's going first?
Who wants it? I tell you what, man, I go. You know, listen. We the cookout is a nice way of acknowledging our allies, or so-called allies, for however long that lasts or whatever. I remember a couple of them that were invited to the cookout and then got revoked. So I don't know. It's a nice funny thing to talk about, but at this point, I think we need to kind of pay attention to ourselves. I think someone mentioned that for every person that is in the cookout, you gotta get rid of a black person or something like that. So We can't have nothing. Yeah.
Else bad.
She said we can't have nothing. So yeah, I mean, it's nice, but we might have to. There are people. I'm sure there are a few that will have to rescind, so to speak. I have, that it's just interesting. It's funny, but I don't personally. I don't put too much into the cookout. With regards to inviting people. It's just something. It's something to amuse ourselves with. But it to me, honestly, it doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean.
I just think we're very inclusive of people to a fault at times. That's just what it is when we accept everybody, and as a result, people are not going to do that with us. But what I realize is this: there used to be an expression called "be careful of mixed company." When I was a kid, one of my uncles was married to a white woman, and I never forget this. And I was little, and so everybody in this cookout is black except her. And she said something negative about Jesse Jackson at that time. And I could tell you it just didn't go over well. And that was the first time I saw kind of that racial divide and that difference there. It wasn't, diplomatic, it wasn't whatever. It was on then. And so as a result, you just got to be very, very careful. I think things got to happen organically. But if you try to force the situation, not going to work.
She said, I want to do the wobble, you push up. And it agrees in peace.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Well,
and bring what Damien said too, saying we get a jam. Jamie, we get a jam.
Yeah.
Well,
how you want to come to the cookout with people that you see as less than? Yeah. How you going to invite people to the cookout who know not being able to cook out? Not being able to cook.
Go ahead, Roddy. You want to say something, brother?
No, this is my theory on who we invite to the cookout. No, I think it should only be us at the cookout. That's number one. And there's some black people that I don't think should come to the cookout.
Yeah,
that's the truth right there.
Hold on. I think there's some black people that shouldn't be invited to the cookout too. I'm not going to name names right now. But the thing is, some of those black people, knowing they shouldn't be at the cookout, they're probably going to show up with the potato salad as a distraction. Okay, because now the potato salad. There better not be no raisins in it. But what they're going to do is they're going to get somebody that makes the banging potato salad and use it as a distraction so they could get in the cookout, infiltrate the cookout. Now I'm talking about the black people that shouldn't be invited to the cookout. Now I'm going to walk up to them. I'm going to take that banging potato salad and then I'm going to tell them to leave. Okay, they don't belong here. Because the thing is, we've had this discussion in the meeting, right? See, there's three types of black people, right? There's the black person that identifies with being black. There's that person that embraces being black. And then there's that person that just happens to be black. We don't want people at the cookout that happen to be black. We want people that are embracing black and identify with being black. So that's my theory on the cookout. No, we're not letting anybody in the cookout that doesn't belong in the cookout, including some black people that don't belong there, because they want to infiltrate the cookout so they can run back and tell what's going on at the cookout.
And Rodney, the most important thing is if you have roaches,
yes,
if you live in a building where there's roaches, if you live in a house with roaches, don't bring anything.
Don't bring nothing
to the cookout. And then if you haven't contributed, don't get aluminum foil and take 400 plates to people who did not come to the cookout as well.
Well, the thing is, and there it goes. My son just said Candace Owens. She can't come to the cookout even if she's bringing potato salad.
Oh, she goes to the picnic.
Kanye West and Stacey Dash.
Okay, OJ Simpson can't get it. You know what I'm saying?
OJ did it.
There's a few. We can talk about the black people that we're not going to let.
We should do that one week. We go who can't be invited to the cookout that look like with the same skin tone.
Probably bring some sunflower seeds or something in the potato salad, right? You know what I mean? Some crazy.
Can Stacey Dash go to the cookout?
No, she can't come to the cookout. She can't come to the cookout. And I want to have security at the cookout so that they don't stand in front of the cookout hanging out. I don't want them there.
We're gonna do this next. I think this might be something we have here. We're gonna have everybody chime in next.
And Marosa cannot come to the cookout. So now all the names are going to keep popping up, but I like that though.
Maybe we need to start disinviting. Put the names out of people who disinvite you from the cookout. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, because
the cookout should be a sacred thing amongst black people. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I see it. No,
David is a nut.
no.
He can put some decoys in there.
You know, that's how
So we
We have to
go
be
the cookout.
strategic. Yeah,
One
we
thing-
got to be strategic. Yeah.
One thing we can witness at the cookout is the Hood Olympics. Da-da-da-da. Jamie, can you give us a little toast, a little segment of the Hood Olympics on the video, please?
Paramedics on his way for their ass. Paramedics on their ass. Oh, it's over here. Oh, it's over here. Oh, it's over here. Her wig just fell out. God damn, her wig. Her wig. Her wig. Oh, my fucking God, her wig. Oh, my God, the wig came off, baby. She almost.
That's just a small sample of the Hood
That's
Olympics.
a small sample. There were other contestants as well. Unbelievable. Go ahead, Kelvin. You go first.
Kelvin, you first, go.
You first, man. This is
All right,
this got
first I
your name all over
want
it.
to say to Derek, I changed my mind. I don't want to go historically black college. Secondly, I'm gonna tell you something. Honestly, the camera phone is one of the worst inventions in history because what I knew, it just confirmed it. That's all it is. It just confirmed it. We are just never gonna get there. I mean, I just don't understand. Yes, we just don't know how to act. It's the natives. He made it clear and understand it's not black people, but it
Not
is
black
the natives.
Yeah,
It's
black
the
people ain't
natives.
doing
That's
Black
the
people
truth.
ain't doing it. Black people ain't doing that shit.
No,
Yeah.
We
It's
never-
They have a little-
and you
they have
can't
a
get
little
the
fun,
natives.
Chris.
The natives will be able to stay.
They ain't worried about. Notice with the black people there, they ain't worried about her health. They worried about her wig fell off.
I
But
know.
what I wanted to know was,
Yeah.
if things went right, how was that supposed to go?
Yeah. Oh. As if that was even ever a possibility, man. That thing
Right.
started shaking. Oh my God. It was the wig for me, right?
No,
And then you know what I want to know? When you go to the hospital and they say, well, how did you get hurt? I just want to hear the explanation.
yeah.
That's what.
Yeah.
Now, you guys know I think different, right?
Mhm.
First of all, where did they get all those crates from? That's the
So
thing.
that's a
First
lot
thing
of
I'm
milk
looking.
crates, a lot of milk
That's a
crates.
lot of milk crates, right?
Ain't no DJs in the back of the day with vinyl, so I don't know where
And
all the milk.
correct. And who the hell came up with that idea?
It's
Who
everywhere now.
came
It's-
up with that idea?
it's everywhere
And then
now.
invited the whole block and said, Joe, we're going to try to walk these crates. Everybody come over with your cameras. This is insane.
Yo,
The crate walk. That's
The
what
crate
it is.
walk.
Is the
I
crate
don't
walk.
So we went from the crip walk to the crate walk.
we can have a lot of Hood Olympics. I remember back in the day we used to have two crackheads fight over crack. Allegedly,
Well,
you know what I mean?
Remember they used to film that. Remember the thing they had on social media called the bum fights. They were filming
Yeah,
bum
bum
fighting and stuff. They're
I
paying them
remember
to
bum
fight
fight.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Instead
But-
of giving gold, we give out platinum trophies, right?
Yo, but the thing is, who's thinking of this? Who's thinking of it? And then you're finding people to actually do it.
Oh yeah.
And people got to understand, it's not just young people, because it's more to this video. It's older people doing this too.
Yeah.
So it's not just young people doing this crazy thing.
I wish Jamie had more the other ones to show. We would be here cracking up.
Oh, so
Oh, yeah.
yeah, show.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So PJ Washington basketball player, guys. He got this
Yes.
chick, the Instagram celebrity Brittany Renner, pregnant, and they got married. I believe they got married, right? And then she's filed for divorce.
I'm not sure if they're
Not
married.
married, but at least she had a baby with him. And then after the baby was born, she filed child support, and his brother got paid $200,000 a month. Ain't no kid on God green earth
What?
$200,000 a month.
What kind of baby is that? What kind of baby is that needs $200,000 a year when you got babies
No,
living
no,
off like
a month.
I'm sorry,
A month.
because I think when they did the math, because she's got to pay the child support up to 18, it's like
years.
48 million he'll be unpaid
I-
for this child support.
I don't even know.
What kind of baby needs $200,000 a month?
Well, let me ask you a question. This, I would assume, is contingent upon his income, right? He
It
won't
is.
be making this income for 18 years.
No.
Good point, Kelvin. Good point, because I was getting there.
But
Yeah.
even if he lasts 4 years in the league, she came up.
Yeah,
And
man.
the thing
She came up.
she planned this. She said if you look at her Instagram, she's about, me, a ball player, have unprotected sex with them.
No,
they're ignorant. Like that's the best way. Now she knows she's gonna get 17% or whatever she's gonna get.
Yeah.
He said that on her Instagram. For people to look up, she like, but anyhow, go ahead, Ronnie.
No, she been rocking with him since he was playing for Kentucky, so she was laying for him.
And she's older.
She's laying in the cut, boy.
Yeah,
wow.
laying in the cut.
She was like 26, she was a few years older than his brother too.
I saw her Instagram page, and she on her Instagram page she says she's an author, but all the pictures on her Instagram page she's pretty much naked. I don't know what kind of books you're selling where you got to get naked on your page, but I never seen an author. I never seen an author with all these half naked pictures on their page. But
well, I think first of all, I think it's obvious. It's very, very unfair. I don't know why a lot of these dudes keep falling for the same thing. It's the Venus flytrap, and that amount of money. I just think the system, family court, is just so rigged against people because it makes no sense. Basically, this woman has just become a millionaire because she had his kid.
Correct.
And that's why you obviously got to govern yourself, because I would assume the majority of men that have the potential to play in that league, most people that try to get with them are trying for that reason. I would assume. Just
the baby doesn't need it, she needs it. Hoes nowadays.
Let me tell you something. In my lifetime, to me, the greatest athlete at handling stuff like this was Derek Jeter. Everybody need to follow Derek Jeter's model. Derek Jeter did not play on that because you look good. You had to have a career. You had to be about something else. Derek Jeter didn't know nothing about it.
Let me give you some insight with Derek Jeter real quick for people who don't know. If you notice, Derek Jeter, I know people that work with him, hanging out with him, whatever. Derek Jeter doesn't allow nobody to have cameras in their house when he comes to his apartment or his house in Florida. And then Derek Jeter never put his arms around women in pictures. He was just leaning into the picture.
That's right.
He didn't know you. He was just like this. And his hands were in front all the time because he made sure nothing happened.
Because he protected his interests. That's right.
All the time.
Now, I want to tell you something, and guys say, "How does this keep happening?" You guys remember Chris Carter, the wide receiver from the Vikings?
Absolutely, Hall of Famer, baby.
There you go, Hall of Famer Chris Carter.
Got eyebrows like you.
Yeah, exactly. He's the man. So, because he has eyebrows like me. But the thing is, Chris Carter was hired by the NFL to go in and speak to rookie athletes about the snatch and grab with women and getting women pregnant. And guess what? It's still happening. So they're not listening.
No.
Now you got a veteran guy, a Hall of Famer, that's telling you that you could lose your whole contract based on child support. And guess what? Guys are still doing it. Now, PJ Williams, I think PJ Williams is like what, 20 or something like that?
PJ Washington, he's like 20 years.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean he's a young guy.
Most is 21.
Young boy. He's a young guy. This is obviously he's hopefully he learns from this and hopefully it works out for him. But $200,000 a month for a baby. Now I know it's based on his income and it's based on a percentage of what he makes, but no baby needs $200,000 a month. That's ridiculous.
No private school costs that much.
No, there's no school. So I mean, basically, you got to drive. No baby can only be driven in a Bentley. You know what I mean?
Right.
When you got mothers raising kids with $15,000 a year.
Yeah, and the thing with him is like, that these guys, most NBA pros are broke in 5 years, and the NFL is like something like that, 5 year removed. About the same thing with NFL players. And these guys, you got to think about the self-esteem of some of these gentlemen because they was nobodies in high school, right? And now they got these fine ass Instagram chicks, all these 1 million followers on their shit, and they just having sex. They say, "I'm gonna bust inside of it. I want to keep her around." It's an ego thing because it's an ego thing too. Think about it. You want to get a chick you really don't know pregnant, and then because you want to keep her around for your ego, and now she's taking you to the bank. And these guys' mentality think, "I'm gonna get 200,000, ain't nothing to me," but they don't realize your career is only short term, bro.
Correct.
And they don't realize that they don't realize they are a walking lottery ticket.
Correct.
That's the thing.
She won the lottery ticket because I think she wasn't just a baby mama; she was his wife.
So they were married.
They were married.
Yeah,
they were married.
She divorced him right after the baby was born.
Okay, and the thing is, now I see why she got paid out of that. I thought it was a baby mama thing because the rules are different when it's husband and wife compared to baby mother and baby father.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah, we both know.
But you know what I was thinking about? You remember Vince Carter's wife? Her sister was married to an NBA player as well. And I'm not saying anything negative about them. I'm saying, what are the chances of two sisters marrying two men in the NBA? In other words, there is a certain circle that goes along with that amount of fame, that amount of wealth, that amount, you see what I'm saying? And so when you are in the setting with these guys, you know, if you get into a relationship with them or have a family with them, you know, it changes his life immediately. This girl does not have to work. I mean, you can go to Harvard. You can be one of the most successful people on the planet and not make $200,000 a month.
Yeah.
Like, what percentage of the world makes $200,000 per month?
There's a small percentage. Correct. There's a small percentage that makes $100,000 a year.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
but
listen,
if you don't know, you know now.
Yeah.
And look at Sean Kemp. Sean Kemp had like 8 kids, and he probably work at Starbucks somewhere now.
Larry Johnson had a lot of kids too.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, Dwight Howard. We can go on the list, baby. We can go on the list for that. But speaking of more dumbass NBA financial decisions, Victor Oladipo turns out a big money, and Dennis Schroeder did the same thing with the Los Angeles Lakers. So one of he had a contract sitting on the table for $84 million. Which one was Dennis Schroeder, right? He had an $84 million contract sitting on the table. He decided, I don't know, we don't know if it's his agent or himself or his mama said, baby, you can get more on the market. Wound up getting the market. They misjudged the market, and he wound up having to sign him for 1 year for $5.9 million. That same $5.9 million ain't nothing to sneeze at, but it's not $84 million guaranteed over the war.
Right.
So,
man, he rolled the dice, man.
Somebody told him wrong.
Somebody told him wrong.
Somebody told him
wrong.
Because I say this, I don't think he's ever going to see that money again.
No, he'll never get that money back. He can never get that back. He can never make it up, even if he's listen. You know, he's got to get max contracts, and he's not max contract player, man. He just doesn't have it, man.
He must have thought the Knicks had the old management in. He said, "I can get this from the Knicks."
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you.
He said fire agent twice. Yeah.
Yo, $84 million. I don't care how much I don't like LeBron. I'm taking $84 million and being grumpy.
That's right.
Oh man.
That hurts. And they said he's having a hard time dealing with it. He's
having a hard time. How do you play after that, bro?
He got a 1-year deal in Boston, $5.9 million, and he's not guaranteed to be a starter.
Yeah. Well, this is what happens.
You send me on the bench for $84 million.
Well, for $84 million, I'll sit in the parking lot. And I don't care what you do.
I don't get word up.
Yo, you know what I'll do? For $84 million, I'll be one of the cheerleaders. I wouldn't even I'd be like, shit, boom, bop. Shit, boom, bop.
Go LeBron.
Man, janitor too. Shoot, man.
$84 million.
The trees for 84.
I'll pump their fucking cars for $84 million. LeBron, you got the spot right
there. Cheerleader, valet, everything.
I'll be in the stand and say, go, boy, go. You beast.
$84 million?
84 million, that's going to be.
Whatever you need.
Yeah.
You're only as good as your advisors. You're only as good as your camp. I don't think you even needed that to know that was a bad deal. If you remember years ago, Ray Allen fired his agent because he's like, I'm a max player. Why do I need someone to take 10% and negotiate that? You know what I mean? And so Schroeder knows he is not a great point guard. He's not. And a lot of Laker fans wanted him out anyway. Yeah. And so he should have signed that in-season offer immediately, you know, and the fact that he didn't is a lesson learned to not only him, but other players that's coming. You got to think about it. You had a chance to play in LA with a team that is possibly going to be in the finals versus a cold weather city and a team that's
he's not going to jail and get pregnant.
Let me explain something, Damon. That might not be a good idea because then you might be paying $200,000 a month.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, a good chunk of that, right?
Well, Brad, Brad said, I got a wife. You got blackball. Might be more to that. Brad, you could blackball me, whiteball me. 84 goddamn million. Yeah. I'm taking all the damn balls. Whatever ball you want to call me, put me behind. 84 million.
84 million, you could call me blue balls.
84 million. Shit.
Yeah.
And that's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, I could be upset with 84 million. I could be. The thing is, like, he should have took 84 million because he'd been right back in the free agency in 4 years from now.
Yeah.
But you know, his wife, she's supporting him. She's like, everybody's been knocking him, but I believe in him. I'm like, well, that's you.
Okay, this is the last one.
Go ahead.
84 million. You know when the players fall on the court and they get sweat on the court and they come and mop it up? I'll be that guy. I come out there with a rag, get on my knees and wipe it up. No problem, man. 84 million. I can
when the season ain't on, I'll be at your house wiping up sweat.
For general purposes.
I'll be following you in your house, man. Anyhow.
I'll be everything, man. I'll be the Uber for the team. I drive the bus, everything. I get the luggage, everything. Whatever they need me to do, man. I get them lunch. I'll stop at Starbucks, get everybody coffee, whatever they need, man. I'll be ironing jerseys in the locker room.
Kind of 84 million shit. Speaking of people that's right, was crying at home. Lizzo was crying live, talking about racism, body shaming, criticism of the industry, and people talking about her. She was who went again. Thoughts on Lizzo?
Oh, okay. Let me say this. I need to really be fair and to be honest. And I've come to the realization. I've had a revelation. I just cannot relate to this era, and I think that's just fair to say. And that era probably can't relate to us. So some of the things that they deal with, living their lives out in front of a camera, in front of social media, and all those things like that, I really just don't relate to it. I don't. I mean, I know people think that a lot of people want to chase fame and fortune, and they think they go hand in hand like they're synonymous. But there is a price to be paid to be a public figure. There's a price to be paid to be famous and have popularity. There's a price, and the price, I think, is so steep that people don't recognize it until they're in it. You know, and so I want to take very seriously when I see that, because I used to be dismissive of that, but now I'm watching famous tennis players that are going through stress, or Olympians, you know, gymnasts and things like that. So I take it very, very serious. And I want to be able to have the empathy and the understanding and the compassion about it, because when you've gone through real problems, it's like, you know, I buried my mother, my father, my sister. It's very hard for me to relate to somebody living in a mansion and they're upset because people body shaming them. But the reality of it is, as one of my friends always says, it's all relative. It's relative to her life. You know what I mean? I think what this culture is too obsessed with social media and the opinions of other people. That's what I think it is. I really do.
Yeah, Gerard can't relate either. I'm part of the generation. Yeah. You know what?
And he can't even fathom.
Yeah. But no, you know what it is? It's sad, because what you see with this young lady is the realization that that people are not laughing with you, they're laughing at you.
Very
all
good.
Right? If you are wearing the clown shoes and you got a big red nose on and you're walking around talking about waka, 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 don't be surprised when people point and laugh. All right? And that's what's happening. And it hurts. You know, she doesn't want it to be true, but she's still wrestling with it. And she's just at the beginning stages. I think the older Lizzo is going to look back, and maybe the older Lizzo is starting to show up and say, you know, listen, I don't like how I'm being received. So the funny thing about that, she can change that at any point. You know, I would love to see her evolution as a woman, but you know, she's going to have to change some things. And we as a people, and just people, the public is not going to sit there and you know, co-sign. You know, if you're acting silly, you're carrying on. What do you expect? You know.
But if your esteem is tied to public perception, then you're in trouble.
But yeah.
That's the thing. And when you're signing off on that, so a record label or a studio or something can come and tell you, this is how we want you to have your image. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of people, I think, are getting into this industry not realizing that you have got to sometimes sell out or sell your soul or sell whatever to be a part of it. So the way you look, some stylists will tell you what to wear. Somebody may tell you what to say. And then you realize you may lose yourself. And if you don't have self-esteem to begin with, now somebody's going to dictate that to you. You see what I'm saying? I mean, look, how many rappers are not really street dudes, but because it was the thing to do, that you got to come and perpetuate this image until you get tested by a real street dude. Then it's
Find out how unstreet you are. Exactly.
right,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So I'll just take the old quote: "To thine own self be true." You're gonna have to really, really know who you are, because if you don't, somebody's gonna tell you who you are.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna piggyback off from Kelvin. What I see in Lizzo is a severe self-esteem issue. Now, everybody will say, "Oh, she's doing all of this stuff. She's behaving this way. She's doing a lot of extreme things to grasp attention." But when she gets negative attention, she can't handle it. So the thing is, basically, people think that her behavior is confidence. What it's not is that behavior is masking her low self-esteem. That's what it's doing. Yeah. So now here's the thing, and I've seen it before. I've seen it in men and I've seen it in women. You ever seen people come into the room and they have to suck up all the oxygen in the room and get all the attention in the room? And people say, "Oh, they're so confident, they're so fun." But as soon as somebody says something negative about them, the first thing they say is, "What you mean by that?" Or "What does that mean?" Because really, you're not really being true to yourself. Exactly. You know, to me, it seems like Lizzo could get 3,000 likes and somebody says one thing negative about her, and she's only going to respond to the one thing that's negative. You know what I'm saying? That's a self-esteem issue. I seen a picture of Lizzo, not just with the butt out one day at a game, but I seen her in a Hershey candy bar wrapper as a dress. So that's her doing something extreme, and I guess maybe saying, "Look, I don't care about being fat," or what have you. But like I said, this seems to me the only way that you feel you can be noticed is to do the extreme things. You know what I'm saying? When you still have low self-esteem. So that's what I see in Lizzo.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I agree.
Well, brothers, it's that time for commercial break. Jamie, take us to our sponsors.
Jam.
Welcome back to Let's Chop It Up. Tonight, we have a special guest coming in tonight. Is our dear brother who's been on the show before, our brother Thomas Hundley. He is a healthcare operationalist and he's a consultant for healthcare. So, Jamie, can you bring our dear brother Thomas into the studio? Thomas, what's up, brother, man, for the motherland?
What's going on, brothers? I tell you, man, you've done a great show today.
How you feeling today, man? Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. We're up here trying to have some jokes and fun, but we're gonna get a little serious talk and hopefully we can still have some fun up here. So, Thomas, last time you was here on the show, we talked about you. You worked at Howard Hospital, taking the vaccine, and you talking about the safety of the vaccine. Yeah. And have you seen over the last 5 to 6 months now? There's been a lot of talk about the vaccine is good for you, vaccine is bad for you, and I'm not taking it, and stuff like that. Yeah. Can you tell us? How do you feel since from the last time we saw you on the show? I think that might have been February or March. I'm not even sure what month we saw you on the show. How do you feel?
I feel great, man. I'll tell you, I still have the same number of fingers, same number of toes, same number of eyeballs. You know, I mean, everything is still working properly. You know, I mean, no hair loss. You know, and any of those things, those myths that we've heard. And but I will tell you what I have seen, and I've seen in this just the numbers don't lie, even when people do. Is that the majority of the people, 99% to be exact, are the people who have the vaccine. Even if they get COVID, they don't die from it. So that right there tells me everything I need to know is that this thing is working. That you don't hear hardly anything about crazy side effects. There is nothing that's 100%, but anything that's 99% to keep me alive, I think it's working. And I know it's working. So the numbers don't lie, even when people do.
Thomas, let me ask you this question. So now there's talk about the booster shot. Can you give us some insight into that?
Yeah. So I think the CDC or Department of Health has come out with the fact that we're going to have a booster shot 8 months after the first shot. And so I do believe that
let it bark. I'm sorry. Don't worry about don't mute yourself again, Thomas. Let it bark. We all right. Let the dog bark. We good.
Oh man. Yeah. So I do believe that I even said it last time on the show that this thing was not going to go away. I told you that I predicted that it would mutate. This is like one of the most perfect viruses ever created. And I'm going to say the word created. It was created and it is doing everything it can to stay relevant in our lives, in our world. It is just part of our culture, a part of our world now from here until whenever. There's no way in my mind, I don't think we'll be able to defeat it. I think it's going to continue to prey on those who have not been vaccinated or who have not found a way to protect themselves against it. And it's going to continue to find a way to survive. So now you hear about the Delta variant that's even more contagious and even more deadly now. And so it has found a way. And so we have over 50% of the population that's vaccinated. And again, those people can still spread it. You can still catch it but you will not die from it. That is the most critical thing. And so if people are not concerned about their lives, not concerned about dying, then, you have a choice. You're right. But I'm going to choose to live. And that's the reason why I decided to get the vaccine. And I'm glad I did.
We're not shaming anybody that didn't have the vaccine or get the vaccine rather. Or we're not going to, we're not taking sides on this, so people will have the discussion. But Thomas, I got a question for you. What do you say to people that said the vaccine is not FDA approved?
Well, so that's a yes and no question. It was approved. It was emergency approved, in which we were in a state of emergency. Not just our country, but the world was in a state of emergency. And so within the next month, I would say maybe 2 weeks, maybe to a month, it's going to be 100% FDA approved. So yes. Go ahead.
So Thomas, it was emergency FDA approved, or it was emergency FDA by the government?
Yes, emergency FDA approved. That's how we were able to give it out, because the FDA said we're going to do an emergency approval on it, while we're still doing our information to 100% approve it, and that's where we are. So I do, as I said, just from everything that I know, it will be 100% approved within the next month.
Thomas, about 3 weeks ago in New York, we had about 80,000 people that just were holding out and got vaccinated. I think partially because New York is pretty much making it difficult for people. They're not, basically anything that's pleasurable or recreational, they're not going to allow you to do it unless you're vaccinated. For people that you've seen that were not interested or afraid of getting the vaccine, what has been the biggest determining factor when you see them change and decide to get it for you?
I think something significant happens in their life, like somebody that they know gets it. And, when they're, what most people don't realize, and I know I think one of you guys have had it in the past. What people don't realize is how lonely you get when you have to be quarantined in a hospital on a ventilator and respirator, and you can't see your people. They can't see you for 8 to 10 days. I mean, that is a lonely feeling. And to top it off, some of the people just from the hospital that I worked in over the last year.
It's all right, Tom.
Right.
They actually walked into the hospital. I watched them walk in. They went up to the COVID ward, but they never walked out. And so their family never got to see them. They never got to see them the entire time they were in the hospital. I mean, no eyes, no hugs, no kisses, no goodbyes, just either through the phone, but no way to visibly see them. And that's a lonely existence. So, if people want to continue to roll the dice and see if they catch it and whether they're going to have mild symptoms or major symptoms, that is a choice. And that as Americans, we do have our own choice. But I just encourage everyone to just educate yourself, do a little more digging on the vaccine, what it's made up of. It does not contain the live virus. So that myth is out. Let me just throw that out there. It does not contain it. So, do your homework and research and make the decision for yourself. But I would venture to say, if I had to tell you, please choose to live.
Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, D.
All right. So, like, for a lot of Black young women, like I have a niece and stuff like that, and a few other young sisters I know, they worry about the reproductive system of having, if they hit this virus, they take this vaccine, will they be able to have kids where the kids come out normal, and does it attach to your DNA and all that stuff like that?
None of that. Myths, man. I'm just going to leave it at that. All myths. Not proven facts. No science behind any of that. It's all myths.
Thomas, did we jump the gun in New York? We had gotten this thing down to, I think, less than 1%. I don't know if we got a false sense of security. Once we took the mask off initially and people started being able to go in theaters again, and we thought we were out of the woods. I think we were at 70%. I heard the sweet spot was 75%. At the time, I think our governor did a terrific job of trying to manage this crisis. And then all of a sudden, this variant came, and it seems like we're not back to square one, but I mean, we did take steps backwards. So did we just come out the gate too fast? I mean, once at first you have only 10% of arenas, and then all of a sudden the places are packed again. Where do we swerve off the road?
No, I don't think we jumped the gun. I think that no one really took into consideration or even thought through the fact that this thing was going to mutate. They thought that they had something that was going to wipe it out. And again, getting the vaccine does help to, limit some of the spread, but it does also prevent the deaths. I want to make sure you guys understand why I'm advocating for it. I want to even bring up that situation that happened in, I think, Philadelphia, where they went to this party and, they found that most of the people were vaccinated, but they still got COVID. Well, when you do the numbers, 99, all of them lived. Okay, even though there were only 7 of them that was hospitalized, 14 of them had mild symptoms, but every last one of them lived. So, and that is the key to showing that this vaccine actually works. But I don't think we jumped the gun. I just don't think that we took into consideration that this thing is going to fight like crazy to try to stay a part of us.
And that's the mutation process. So basically, if you can explain mutation, this is a live virus, and it is saying, I will transform before I just go easy. Is that what it is?
Okay. I've been trying to wrap my brain around how to kind of put this into a
layman's
form
terms
that somebody can understand it. But it's sort of like an alien, if you can understand it. Alien that we're trying to get rid of, and you shoot it with the laser gun and it splats out into all this green mess. Well, then there's a little piece of that green mess that keeps moving. Well, that thing is going to try to find a way to live. It's going to attach to something to say, okay, I need to get new life. And once it gets that new life, it said, okay, now I'm going to multiply and create a new variant or a new life, and I'm going to spread just like I did before. That's what's happening. And no one took into account of that. And what I also heard before, just 2 weeks ago, that there's a gamma variant that's out there. So I'm telling you, man, we have to continue to do what's prudent. Keep our mask on, continue to social distance, and most importantly, they have something that is a miracle that's working, and that's the vaccine. The way they created it, when you look into it, I mean, it's something that we can be proud of as a human race. That it was very intellectual and very ingenious in the way they developed this vaccine, and it's actually working.
So people saying that it's no one you can sue. Like, who's going to be responsible? Like, you can't sue the government for this vaccine, stuff like that. What are your thoughts? Anything you heard on that?
Well, and I keep hearing people say the government. But I look at the 2 companies who were first to jump on the scene, Pfizer and then Moderna. Those are the independent companies. Now, the government had to get behind this. Why? Because it's countrywide. I mean, there's nothing that's going to happen countrywide. It's inherent on the government to do something. So yes, they're pushing it. Why? Because the government wants to keep the country safe. How else do we continue to function with our economy, our military, as a world order, as a top world order, if everybody in our country is sick? So they have to do something. So that's prudent on them. That's their job to do so.
Anybody else want to?
Yeah, I want to say right now what we're doing in New York. They've come out with a list. They're going to implement this in September.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot go to gyms. You cannot go to theaters. You cannot go into a restaurant. They're going to make it where you pretty much are relegated to your home, or right now they're even considering trying to get MTA workers. If you work for the city, that they want to mandate it. I know that's going to probably be met with some type of litigation and put out in court. But do you think if we do that, do you think that's going to get a hold of this thing? Just limiting everybody who's not vaccinated? Is that?
Yeah, we're going to have to go back to not a full shutdown like we did before, back, I think, 2020, starting in February, March, April. I don't think we're going to go back to that. But again, we're going to have to go back to wearing our mask. And now, I was just in New York yesterday and the days before. And I had the best chicken and waffles that I've ever had in my life. Okay,
but where were you at? Where were you at? First of all,
it was on 8th Avenue and Mom's Cafe or something right down off of 8th Avenue, almost near the restaurant district.
Okay,
yeah,
I don't know what that
but it was amazing. But before I could walk into that restaurant, the guy asked me. He said, "You have to show proof of your vaccination." And I'm like, whoa, okay. Now I'm not carrying the card around with me. He said, but you can't sit outside and you don't have to show anything. But to walk into that restaurant, and Monday was the first day that they enacted anybody inside had to wear a mask. But that caught me by surprise when I walked in and he said, you have to show proof.
Uh-oh. We lose Thomas?
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right.
You know why? Because Thomas ain't have his vaccination card on him. And if you're gonna be in the big screen, no, but I think he while we're getting him back, I think that's some very, very pertinent information. Then it's good to see that he's still healthy because we did have that question. Welcome back, Thomas.
Yeah, thanks.
But Thomas, let me ask you this question. This has been so polarizing. And to some people, it has been a political football. It seems like it's been divisive. Right now, this is how one of my cousins was saying he was afraid to get it. He's afraid 5 years from now we're going to have some type of disclaimer about it or something like that. In the midst of everything, how do we? Is there a happy medium where we could not be harsh to people that are afraid or concerned or don't want to get it? It seems like it's becoming very contentious. It seems like it's coming to a fever pitch now. Are you seeing that where you are? Because even in New York, which is a very liberal place, we're starting to see the frustration and politically it's starting to kind of boil over.
I've been seeing it a lot. I mean, people are making their comments known about whether or not they're going to get the vaccine or not. And then you should really see the comments about the booster. I mean, people are giving the government the finger. They're like, oh, absolutely not. You're trying to infect us. I mean, there's so many conspiracy theories out there about it. And so it was already hard enough to get us over that plateau of getting the country to 75%, which is herd immunity. But now to enact that we're going to give a booster on top of this and people still don't really know about this vaccine. I mean, I just see that falling on deaf ears.
I gotta admit, the booster concerns me as well because I wasn't told about the booster. I didn't know that later we were gonna have to. Did they not know? Because I think the way the information is rolled out has been one of the issues some people have as well.
I don't remember if I mentioned it on this show or
I think you did. I remember you mentioning it.
This is going to continue to go on. This is going to be the new flu shot. I think I said that.
Yeah, you did.
So just like you have to get that flu shot every year, I believe we're going to get some type of vaccine to help us prevent from dying from COVID. And notice I said dying and not the spread of it, but I just think we're going to end up having something that we're going to have to come to terms with going forward. And so I'm not surprised by the booster. I am surprised that they're giving it 8 months after the last one. I thought maybe it would be an annual thing, but I just don't know, man. I mean, I don't know if they thought this was going to happen, or they predicted this was going to happen, or even planned for it. But I actually saw this coming.
So
I think that there's a slippery slope going on right now, where we're already talking about you need to have your vaccination card before you do whatever. All right. Now you're also saying that that booster shots are going to be necessary. So now we're all going to have to walk around with updated vaccination cards. All right. Where not only do you get the booster shot, but now you have to walk around with this vaccination card everywhere that you go. All right. Identification papers. All right. So now it seems like there's a slippery slope. And I think, and it's all, and the sticker is people still have concerns regarding the efficacy of the shot itself right now. You know what I mean? It seems like we're going someplace and we don't even know if it's even worth it or how worth it is. All right. So I think that's where a lot of it is coming from. When you look at it, just wondering what your thoughts are on that. When do you think that this thing will ever be over? When do you think this is going to be done?
Man,
well, just let me add to what Derek said, and
go ahead.
I think what Derek was also trying to say is that the narrative keeps constantly changing, and everybody just keeps going for it.
Yes,
you're right. It does, and I think the narrative keeps changing because this is such a new thing. Just think about it. Before 2019, had you ever heard the word COVID? You never heard the word. So this is new for just about everybody in the country, and we're scrambling, trying to get ahead of something that we're already behind the 8 ball from the giddy up. And so I just see that people are trying to, the most intelligent people in the country are trying their best to solve a problem that doesn't just plague our country, but the whole world. And so that's just where we are. And I don't see, because this virus is so sophisticated, and it's just, there's nothing that we had that could actually kill it. And so I know one of the questions we had is, what is the cure for it? Well, there is no cure. Just only ways to prevent you from dying from it and possibly prevent from spreading it. That's where we are right now at this day and time.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of black people that talk about with Tuskegee and stuff like that, and and how they treated black people in healthcare, and I can't be mad at them, and because they this country has always did wrong by with women's health, all kind of stuff like that.
Yes.
What do you say to those people like this? They trying to kill black people. I just remember, and months before that, it was a whole bunch of white people lined for the vaccine. So, what are your thoughts on that, man?
Yeah, I know. I mean, and I know that question sometimes, or when people use that, there's some fear. There's some fear in that, in that excuse, in the fear and the excuse as to a reason why they won't use it. But as you can see, Tuskegee was Tuskegee. If you've ever been to Tuskegee, the town of Tuskegee, you know how small that is in comparison to.
I almost got locked up down there, Thomas. Don't bring up Tuskegee. That's a true story.
That doesn't surprise me about you. Anybody else, it would surprise me, but not about you, brother.
long time ago.
Where does herd immunity come in?
When does it come in? So they predict herd immunity comes in when we're about 75% of the country has received the vaccine. That's what they believe.
And what will that accomplish?
What that does is, so hear me now. So I'm gonna say this. What it does is prevents the bouncing or the spread of it, where that is affecting people to the point of death. You guys remember New York was hit the hardest at the beginning of this thing, and all the people that were lined up, the coolers and trailers of dead bodies that they had out there at the hospitals in New York. So as you can tell, over the time, those numbers have come down. And that is what it has actually done, is prevent the number of deaths of the people that this virus is killing off. And I mean, because again, when it started, there was such a panic. The whole, the world shut down. You know, the logistics of things shut down. You couldn't get medical supplies. You couldn't get ventilators. Hospitals were just bombarded with, you know, just people being overworked, too many, not enough beds. So, you know, I mean, but this thing now has stopped the numbers of deaths, and it will actually stop to the point where it's not spreaded so much, and hopefully it'll just die off.
So the people that do like holistic stuff, like in those kind of, like they saying vitamin D deficiencies and take all this oil, oregano's, all this stuff like that, and that certain people only get are the ones that are getting sick from this. What are your thoughts on what have you seen from the data that you've read?
I'll never talk about anyone who's doing anything to boost their immune system. You know, so anything you can do to boost your immune system is going to bode well for you. But you have to also make sure that the underlying health conditions that you may have are not a factor, and you're taking care of those as well. So exercise and diet are still actually the keys. But again, any natural herbs, supplements, or things that you could do to boost your immune system will help. But again, it is not a cure or a prevention from anyone getting COVID. There are only 2 drugs that I know that they use right now that combat that. And I think one of them is remdesivir, and the other one is a corticosteroid that I forget the name of.
Yeah, I think that's what the governor's taking that Rosetta, the governor of Texas.
That's what they use in the hospitals.
Yeah, I think that's
COVID patients.
Ain't that one thing that this guy gets to use this at home, and everybody else that's not privileged has to wait till they get to the hospital? But anyway, that's another thing.
Okay, so I wanted to ask, what is your did you have a preference with the shot you received?
Have a preference?
Yeah, and I know that's kind of a loaded question, but I know there's some information about Johnson & Johnson versus Pfizer. I wound up getting Pfizer, which I knew a couple of doctors, and they were like, "That's the way you want to go, if possible." I mean, I don't know how true it is, but you know, did you have a preference, or? And I don't want to deter anybody or persuade, you know.
No. So I did have a preference. I wanted to get the Pfizer. The Pfizer was the first one that came to our hospital and was made available. And I was one of the first 15 in the hospital to get it. And so I stuck with Pfizer. Now, Pfizer is a company that's been around 150 years. Moderna has been around 10 years. And so, but both of them were on the same cutting edge technology. So one was an upstart company. The other one has been around for a while. And so I just went with the company. I'm old school, so I went with the old school company.
Gotcha.
Well, you would have went with Johnson & Johnson. Yeah. And you would have had that third eye.
Hey, now here's the thing. Johnson's vaccine came out much later. I was first in line. I wanted the first thing that came out.
Gotcha. Now, the people saying that the vaccine came out so fast, and can you tell people why it came out so fast?
Yes, we had an emergency. Houston, we had a problem. And so we had to figure out how to solve that problem. And so once they came out with the vaccine, so just to give you an idea of FDA approval, you know, most of the time it goes through a long 3-year process. And the reason why it goes through that is because, one, you got to have you got to have a disease that needs medicine for it, or a vaccine for it. All right. Number 2, you got to have the money to put behind the vaccine. All right, because you're not going to just spend billions of dollars on a vaccine and there's no need or supply or demand for that vaccine. Okay. Then once you do that, it goes into the laundry list of FDA approvals that it has to go through. So it's on the list already there are like 1,000 drugs on there already. And so you go to the bottom of the list. Well, the government decided that this was such a world order and such an important thing that they would move whatever came out to the top of the FDA approval list. Not only that, the money was there. Why? Because the demand was there. So it skipped all of that long process because of the demand, because of the money, and because we had a problem. That's the reason why they got approved so fast. That's the end of the story.
Well, this is the last one for me, and Thomas, and thank you for this information you've shared. As you said, you were one of the first 15 people.
Mhm.
What gave you the confidence to actually take something? Was it a leap of faith, or was it because you just actually believed in the science at the time?
Two things. One, I believed in the science, and number two, I'm a soldier at heart, and I know that I wanted my family to live. And sometimes, you make sacrifices for the good of your family, and I was willing to be one of those people that if this thing was going to work, I wanted to see if it's going to work on me before my family did it first. So I wanted to be the first and say, hey, people are going to learn from me, and then we'll see what happens. But I believed in the science, and also being a soldier, man, they have given us shots, that we didn't even know what we were getting, man. We showed up, pulled our sleeves up, and they shot us with a gun and say, all right, go out and do great things. So, and I'm still here after all those. So I believed I would survive, this new vaccine.
Wow, very, very nice.
Um,
Appreciate it, Thomas.
So how about what the kids are going back to school? What these kids like? How do you feel about young children getting this vaccine and stuff like that?
Well, I have a 12-year-old here, and so she went on and got it too. And so the 9-year-old has to wait her turn until they approve that she'll be able to get it, or if she turns the right age to get it. And then we'll also make sure she's vaccinated. But at the time, I do believe that each one of them needs to wear a mask and continue to practice their hygiene and social distancing, even while in school. Anything you can do to continue to protect yourself and stop the spread of it, or even stop from catching it, I think is on us as individuals to do. So if it was up to me, every student going to school, if you're going to be inside, you need a mask on, period.
Are there numbers on, let's say, people who are vaccinated and go maskless? Like how are they with spreading the disease? All right, as opposed to people who are just unvaccinated, but wear a mask, or whatever. Are there any numbers like that walking around? Have you heard?
No, what they have done, the science behind the mask is it stops the spread of not just COVID, but any type of germs.
Right.
If you realize that by us wearing the mask all of 2000, we did not have as many flu cases as we normally have. So it's the science behind wearing the mask that it stops the spread of germs and other things. So wearing the mask is proven. It's already been proven that it actually helps to limit someone, coming in contact with you with your breathing or sneezing or coughing or even talking loud, and you're emitting things out of your mouth. Somebody walking through that and catching something that you actually, emitted. So it's science behind it, and I believe in it. So we try to wear our mask as much as possible, especially indoors.
I know some people saying, not just my homeboys to me today, about like if you get the vaccine that this strips down your immune system, that keeps you vulnerable to other diseases and stuff like that, that strips down your immune system, that now that this variant, that this vaccine is going to trigger something worse to come to humanity because of it strips down your immune system. Is that true, or what have you seen?
Never heard that. Never saw anything written that is true at all. But I will say this, Damar, man. I really want you all to hear me on this. There are people that I've seen who say to themselves, who ended up in the COVID unit, who were so against the vaccine. And it came down to the point where, they were, on their last days. And now they're saying, dang, I wish I had done my research and I wish I had gotten it. But it was too late. And I don't want that for anyone, for them to, stand on their laurels and stand on their high horse and what they believe and what they think, and without doing their research, and let that be their excuse for not getting it. And then it becomes, and it's too late, and that's the part that bugs me, because the people I saw in that morgue, those bodies piled up, those are our people. Those are all Black people in there. Not one of them didn't look like me. And so the bodies were just piled up, and reality hit me, man. I'm like, the only people dying in this morgue are the people who did not get the vaccine. That told me everything I needed to know. And so I just want people to do their homework, make your own decision. I'm not telling you to go get it. I want to make sure I put that on record. I'm not telling you to go out there and get it. I'm saying make the choice that's best for you. Do your work, do your research and homework, and find out what is the best decision for you and your family.
All right. Brother Thomas, man, listen, I don't know anybody got any more questions for my brother Kelvin, Derek, Rodney.
No, I don't have a question.
You know, I will say I was a little nervous, man. I didn't think I was going to be able to follow the Hood Olympics, brother. I didn't know who was going to do that.
The Hood Olympics is even more challenging. You might somebody break their neck and wind up in that morgue with the rest of the people in there, man. Hood Olympics is hard to follow, brother. Hard to follow,
man.
You got a whole bunch of stuff. The Hood Olympics. They got Lucy sales, who sell the most Lucy's, all kind of shit. But that's another week. That's gonna be another show. Another week,
sir.
Man.
Hey, brother. Hey, I appreciate you guys, man. Much
Definitely.
love to you guys.
We love you, man, for the information bringing, man. Thank you.
Yeah, and I definitely now know what it is to have a New York slice.
Right, brother.
That's right.
Nothing like it.
You better have that eating that with a fork and knife, man.
Oh man.
So Thomas, before you go, share with the people. We understand that you are a huge baseball fan.
Yes.
Two things. Share with the people why you're going on tour to visit as many stadiums as you are. Secondly, who is your team that you root for?
Okay, so I'm a former baseball player myself. Played in college before I got injured. Joined the military right after that. So it's always been on my bucket list to visit every Major League Baseball park. I've gone to 17 so far. And so the Yankees versus the Sox yesterday was by far the best game. The fans were going at it, but it was hilarious. But the game was exciting, and watching the Yankees pull it off at the end, it was just a beautiful thing. But I personally root for the Atlanta Braves only because I'm from Mississippi, and that's all
put them in the back. Put them in the back.
That's all we watched. That's all we had, man. We only had.
I know
two
that's
channels.
true. That's true. When I was down there, it's right. You're right.
Yeah, we only had two channels. We watched WGN and TBS. So I had to root for the Braves or the Cubs. So I was rooting for the Braves.
Well, thank you for the 1996 World Series, brother.
I remember that. Yes,
I was in South Carolina for when Andy Pettitte pitched that one-zip game.
Oh,
and I was surrounded by Atlanta Braves fans. Surrounded.
Yeah.
I was out there hanging out, turn up. Your Thomas, brother, thank you, man, for coming on again, man. We love you, brother, for the information given out to the people. And like you said, people make their own choices and stuff like that. Just want everybody to be safe. And wash your damn hands and use hand sanitizer.
There you go. All
right, brother, man.
All right,
peace,
brother.
man.
Peace.
Take care,
Thomas.
Thomas.
Take care, right.
My man.
Right. Oh, Kelvin's in the middle, baby.
Right, brother, you already know.
Yeah, shit.
Your brother can't have nothing.
Derek, people are texting me and saying you cannot go let your screen go. But they want to see homeboy take it off. They want to say put it on the glass. Do not. They want to see him out there in these
Put him on the glass.
They want to make it rain. They text me asking me what is his Cash App.
Hey man, you know what? We're gonna set it up. You're gonna have to pay to see that though, baby.
Oh man, this a gift that man his for OnlyFans page, baby. Thanks, my brother Thomas, for coming on, man. Giving us some actual factuals or how you want to take it, man. But yeah, that was good, man. So listen, brothers, man. Then we get towards the end of our show here, man. But it was a debate we had the other day, and people were talking about who's better in their prime. Let's say their prime, Eddie Murphy or Dave Chappelle. If they had a versus, who do you have?
I gotta go. First of all, let me tell you something. I'm being hypocritical because I'm a person that I usually don't want the eras to have comparisons because I think you don't get a chance to appreciate them. I first want to say that I think Dave Chappelle is the greatest comedian of his time. I may be inclined to say that Eddie is the greatest of all time, but I'll reserve that for Richard Pryor. I do think Eddie Murphy ultimately was the more talented and better stand-up. I think what happens is Dave Chappelle is so relevant to the times. I think Dave Chappelle is the smartest comedian I've ever heard. What he takes from world events and news that's going on and how he can take it and make bits out of it, I think is brilliant. But I think Eddie is a master impressionist. I think Eddie did something that I rarely see. Eddie took over an hour with Delirious, and every single bit to me stood up. Every single bit, from ice cream truck to the beatings, to the Michael Jackson sketch, the James Brown, every single thing I think landed, and there was no lulls in the show. I think the other thing was he was one of the first to do it on that scale. He's one of only 5 comedians that have sold out Madison Square Garden, but I just think his talent, also, I know this is not fair to throw in, but he is a movie star. Chappelle is not a great movie star actor. But if we just keep it to the stage, I think what Eddie could do on the stage. And then the other thing I will use is when Dave Chappelle allowed Will Smith to do 5 minutes before his stand-up. Dave Chappelle in the vehicle on the way over said, Eddie Murphy is the only person that makes me nervous on stage when he's in the audience, because I know that he did this better than me. So that is why I go with Eddie. And just with the eye test, I thought Eddie was more groundbreaking, and I thought Eddie was a better stand-up.
I agree, because the early Dave Chappelle was not that good to me. I'm not gonna say how corny. I really didn't.
No, but you got to go prime for prime, though.
Prime for prime. Even in the prime, Eddie Murphy. I wasn't too young to see Eddie Murphy in the clubs. Eddie Murphy to me probably was funnier than Dave Chappelle in the club. I saw Dave Chappelle before he got big. Even in his prime, Dave Chappelle's first specials wasn't that dope to me. They were his first ones when he was like wearing the jeans and regular dude, not when he coming out now smoking a cigarette and all that cool shit. He was. In your opinion, what's
Chappelle's best stand-up? Best special.
His last 2 were pretty
Sticks
good.
and Stones, right?
The last 2. It's the last 2 that I would say.
The last 2 was best ones.
If you got to choose one, which one would that be? I think Sticks and Stones is his greatest work.
Yeah, that's his greatest work. That's his greatest work ever.
Now, does that top Delirious or Raw?
No. Delirious, we are still telling jokes. People are still telling jokes from Delirious.
That's what I'm saying. Ice cream. Yeah.
But the thing is, but are we still laughing at those jokes? That's the question. I think that the timing played a role. I think that in that time, Eddie Murphy's timing was perfect to come along and do something like that. And to me, it was like a follow-up of what Richard Pryor did, like Live on the Sunset Strip and all stuff like that. Eddie Murphy, to me, and I'm not saying Eddie Murphy wasn't funny, and Delirious and Raw was classic for its time. But I think when I look at Eddie Murphy's quality of jokes, he played it safe a lot. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, he used a lot of things that Dave Chappelle was never able to use. Like Eddie Murphy, when he came out there with those suits and the gloves, that was all about sex appeal, trying to get women, having his shirt open and all of that stuff. Like Dave Chappelle comes out raw, and he's up there with raw talent. And I don't think that Eddie Murphy was completely like that. That's why I'm going to say, as far as talent-wise, I think Dave Chappelle was the funniest comedian. I saw Dave Chappelle when he was first starting out, and Dave Chappelle did a skit about a pet monkey that he had, excuse my French, anybody watching the show, that used to jerk him off. And it was probably one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen in my life. Eddie Murphy never made me almost throw up, but Dave Chappelle has.
Got you. Now, I'll say this, Rodney, when it comes to the way jokes age, the problem with a joke is, where it's different than music, obviously, when you know the punchline, it will never make you laugh quite the same because you know the punchline.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So that's the reality. There's still an element of surprise.
No, but I'm saying that I get your point. That can still make me laugh today. You know what I'm saying? I get your point. And there's a reason why Eddie Murphy won't do stand-up again now, because he knows that he won't be able to scrape the surface now. There's too many more funny people out there now than him.
Yeah, I think Chappelle earlier work was, I'm gonna say,
there you go, Marvin. Dave is better than Dave
Chappelle earlier work, you look back, was trash. I think he's funnier now, older, wiser, and certain things he picks up certain things. His whole cigarette thing is Dick Gregory. That's a whole timing thing. The whole thing with the cigarette is a timing thing. He sticks a little parts of the older guys a lot. When you're gonna say like Murphy did the whole stand up from like Richard Pryor, but a lot of Dave Chappelle things, he took a lot of little things. And Eddie has talent. When he did the Norton thing and all those people like that and all that kind of stuff, those shit was funny, man.
Eddie Murphy was funny with skits. And the thing is, too, I think that Eddie Murphy had Saturday Night Live to also catapult his career. And he
Chappelle show really catapulted your boy, though.
I understand, but the thing is, too, that was pretty much all Dave Chappelle. Eddie Murphy had Saturday Night Live, which had a mixed following. You only basically back when Eddie Murphy was on there, they was only putting one black person on there at a time. You know what I'm saying? You can't come on here black until Eddie leaves. You know what I'm saying? It was like that. So I think Saturday Night Live helped Eddie Murphy a lot. That's just my personal opinion.
Chappelle showed did the same thing. Chappelle showed did the same thing. And
no, listen, you just said it. You said Chappelle's show. Eddie Murphy was on Saturday Night Live. That wasn't his show.
I know. Let me finish.
People only watch him on it.
Let me finish my statement. Chappelle also had a hard white following in his earlier cornier jokes to me. And that's what also helped his show elevate too. Because he had a corny. Dave Chappelle was corny to me, man. I never want to ask Chicken Wing. We was at the comedy club every Friday, and I said, "Yo, kid, I could walk out on Dave Chappelle."
Eddie was live. Saturday Night Live. That's a little different. Being live, Eddie is like. If you watch Chappelle when he hosted Saturday Night Live, a lot of the sketches, it was a little foreign to him to actually read those cue cards and stuff live. It's a lot different. The pressure. Remember, they were going to cancel Saturday Night Live until Eddie Murphy. They fired everybody but Murphy and Piscopo. Dick Ebersol took over. I mean, he got rid of everybody except Piscopo and Eddie. And he said, Eddie Murphy has to be in the first 5 minutes of the show every week because that's what people was watching. I think right now what we're doing, we're going through the LeBron Jordan argument. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's
we talk about people that are so elite. They're so great. And I don't ever want to, in comparison, detract from the other. I just think it's a matter of preference. But I think the reason you have a Chappelle is because you had an Eddie Murphy. And that's why sometimes to me, the tie goes to the groundbreaker.
Yeah, the same way you got to Eddie through Richard Pryor, the same way you got to Richard Pryor through Red Fox. You know, every comedian has had that predecessor, and in order to reach those heights, you had to have that television show, that platform, whatever that was, man, that could just help.
And you're subject to your generation. You're subject. In other words, the impressions that Eddie Murphy started doing was Ali and Jimmy Carter and stuff. That's what it was. I mean, you know.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Shaggy made a whole song off of it. It wasn't me. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I'm a Chris Rock fan.
Chris Rock is funny too. Absolutely. He's brilliant. I think he's brilliant too. How about this? Would you guys go for this and say that Eddie Murphy is more of an actor comedian and Dave Chappelle is a better stand-up comedian? Would you say that?
I'm not going to say prime. Now, some people will say, but what I'm saying is prime. If you look at prime, those sketches early on in the prime and the way you had to work those clubs and stuff and to come out, because think about it, we're talking about Delirious and Raw, and Comedy Central still shows Raw. We're talking about that. You're talking about, nearly 40 years later. You know what I mean? It's like when somebody says, one of my friends was like, oh, Chris Brown is a better dancer, he's more athletic than Michael Jackson. I don't even think they're the same stratosphere. Yeah, you can be more athletic, but I mean, at the end of the day, the way to be a groundbreaker is so different because it gives that blueprint. I think that Chappelle is a smarter. I think he is, even by Eddie Murphy's admission, he is the smartest comedian maybe ever.
Absolutely.
And I think he's just brilliant. Like I said, I'm splitting hairs here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Dave had the shows, but Eddie had the movies.
That's why I said that's my
MSG.
Yeah, that's my point. I look at Eddie Murphy and I say that's why I think Eddie Murphy did better at movies and films. I thought he was a better actor comedian, where Dave Chappelle is more of a stand. He get on the stage and he could tear it down. I think, like, okay, if we brought Eddie out the dirt right now and said do a comedy show, I don't think it would be hilarious.
Well, Eddie doesn't have the same motivation. He doesn't have the same connection, though, man. I mean, I think Eddie at this point is more of a victim of his own success, and he's not in the same areas that he was able to draw that comedy from. He's not there anymore. You know what I mean? So I think that has.
Yeah, I don't think he would be funny at all. I don't.
No, I agree, but I think it has
unless somebody else that was funny wrote it for him. You know,
I think comedy has a lot to do with deprivation. I think when you're hungry, just like boxing, I think it is. And Chappelle, I got to admit, Chappelle is the Mayweather of comedy. He tells jokes like he's broke.
Yeah. And he pushes the envelope too.
Definitely.
You know Eddie never pushed the envelope.
Well, before we go, I wanted to say the best comedian ever did a movie. Best comedian movie was Pootie Tang. Sadata, Wadata, Sadate. Anyhow, gentlemen, it's our time to go. Happy you came. Happy you showed. Brothers, I love you guys, man. Let's check it out in 7 days. Let's see you guys and check it out. Chop it up with us next week in 7 days. Peace, peace, and peace. Love you guys.
Later.